here is most of us are sacrificing. Most of us are, trying to stretch $1,200 over 4 months, which is impossible. Like that's insane. And now we have unemployment expiring, and we have moratoriums on rent and loan for on house expiring. And this is a disastrous situation. But meanwhile, our elected officials get per diems to write off everything, a car trip to Harrisburg, when it's all set up with legislation that they can sit at home. They don't have to drive down to Harrisburg. They can Zoom and vote that way. And I posted on my page. I hope most people will read it. There are a couple Senator Democrats that are putting up a bill that say per diem should stop during COVID at a minimum, because if working people are suffering and making it work, so the people that get our tax dollars should be doing the same thing. And it's tough here, right? It is hard when you have a D behind your name for Bill, for myself, for Jackie. But you have to start understanding that we want to actually go to Harrisburg and try to fix some of this damage. Because if we don't, these things that we've been complaining about for a long time in rural PA that have been highlighted from COVID, if these things do not get fixed, I don't know what's going to happen to this state. Like, we're not doing good in a lot of stuff to begin with. If it keeps this way, I don't even want to know. This state is in such financial distress. It's unreal when you start looking at the numbers and what's going to happen here. And like in Snyder County, you have like 60% of the people that are on unemployment or in the manufacturing sector that have exhausted their benefits. What is going to happen here? Do people understand? You're punishing working people for a situation that is out of their control, and you're offering them nothing to help them through it. And instead, you're taking off for how many months now to do nothing, when you should be down in Harrisburg or on Zoom voting in Harrisburg and putting up these bills to fix these problems, and you are not doing it. You are not doing it. And it's going to catch up to us in ways that we have never seen. I mean, the estimates that I've seen is on a low side, 40% of small businesses are going to go under. On the high side, 60%. Same thing with early childhood development centers. This is a disaster waiting. And if you can have this conversation about unemployment, blah, 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 but this is what unemployment is for, right? There aren't jobs right now, because even if you're a business owner right now and you are open, you're not open at full capacity. You cannot bring your full staff back in most cases. And the reality of the situation is a lot of people still are not feel comfortable leaving their house. I leave as the fewest amount of times as possible. Nobody's out just walking around Target and shopping for la 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 right now, right? Like we used to. How many times I used to go to the movies and all that stuff, like, not that the movies are open right now, but that stuff is not happening. So even though our businesses are opening, they're not making the money they used to, because people know this is real. People are worried. They don't want to go out and shop and do like they did, and they don't have the money to do it. You can't give people $1,200 to last 4 months. Nobody can live on that. Nobody. And you can scream and yell that it's socialism, blah, blah, blah. But right now, we cannot have that talk, because people's lives are at stake. People need to pay their bills. People need to put clothes on their children. People need to put food on the table. And their job might have been taken from them in a situation that is not their control. And that's why you have some sort of government system in place. That is the point of this. Now, we can say there's flaws here, major flaws. And we're seeing that because people are rather choosing to be partisan instead of taking care of their constituents. And if that keeps happening, if Harrisburg continues to keep being this partisan, nothing is going to come out of there that's going to help anybody. Whether you're a business owner, whether you're a union person, whether you're a school teacher, whether you installed garage doors like my dad did, nothing is going to help you. And we have got to stop and realize that in a lot of our cases, in Bill's, in mine, in Jackie's, the people that we have been running against have been in office for a long time. And you need to ask yourself this election, what has that person done for you? And that's what you need to ask yourself in this November, or if you choose to vote by mail and you get that mail-in ballot, and you look at those names, you look at Jackie versus y'all, you look at Bill versus Millard, you look at myself versus Gordner, you need to sit and not look at the R or the D behind the name, and look at that person and say, have they done the job they are supposed to, at the minimum during this pandemic, to help our small businesses and working families through it? Because right now, I watched those Senate sessions. I watched the bills that were being put up. They sure as heck passed a bill that gave a tax break to their donors, but they would not pass the PPE amendments. They would not pass the hazard pay amendments. But they wanted to pass a bill to restrict the governor's power. And you can have a discussion whether you think the governor has gone too far on some stuff. That's fine. But that's not the legislation you should be passing right now. It's not pertinent. And they can get you all riled up in your district. They can go on social media and they can point their finger and say, he did this wrong and that did that wrong. They are distracting you. They are distracting you because they're not doing their job. And I hate to go on this rant, but I am watching so many people right now be divided on a mask debate, or be divided on whether the governor's out of control, because they don't want you to know that they're not doing their job. They don't want you to know that they are passing bills that don't help you but help their donors. That is the problem here. And if we don't see some sort of shift a little bit, Pennsylvania schools are going to keep going. I think we're 46th, 47th ranked in funding. That is, we pay a lot of property taxes. Why are our schools not getting that money? Where's that money going? We pay that gas tax to drive our cars. That was supposed to fix all this infrastructure. And believe me, the bypass is needed, but there's a lot of products that PennDOT didn't have the funding to do. Where did that money go? This is the reality of the situation, and there has to be change here. And you need to stop and look at these guys that have been in office a long time. And guess what? You decide to vote for me, you decide to vote for Jackie, you decide to vote for Bill. If after 4 years, or in Bill's case, 2 years, you didn't think we did anything, you have the power to vote for somebody else. But there's nobody forcing you this time. There is no straight party. You're going to have to go down that ballot. You're going to have to look at our names, and you're going to have to ask yourself in your head, what has that person done for me?